snacks.
What it do, snackers and snackettes? It's your boy Gage. That's Sin.
Yes, sir.
That's Jokes.
Yo.
This is Cutscenes.
That it is.
And it's the
best part of the game.
Hey.
So check this out. EVO.
It's going down.
Well, it went down. It went down. And I'm gonna be honest. I don't really care that much. But and that's not like, don't get me wrong, EVO's exciting at like the top tier, watching people do what they do.
Right. Especially, you know, we play the games, we're into it,
Yeah, for me it's more about the news.
Of course.
It was a lot of news. I sent y'all a lot of trailers.
You did.
Yes.
Did you look at the trailers I sent you?
I think I looked
Yes,
at
I did.
2 of them.
I looked at them.
Thank you.
You're welcome, sir.
Thank you for doing
You know
the
what?
homework.
Somebody takes the time to send you something. The least you can do is take a look at it.
You know what?
That's all.
You know what?
It's called show prep. Just saying.
Let's do something right quick.
Go ahead, sir.
Before we get into EVO.
Okay.
Okay? And here's why we're going to do this before we get into EVO. We probably need to talk about a couple of other games. Things that we're playing. The kind of things that might be deemed too important to stop doing to watch the trailers I sent. You know. Playing Fire Emblem. Things of that nature.
Yeah,
Now, wait.
But
Wait.
just saying,
Wait.
you're speaking some truth. A little bit, I got you.
Before we do that, I can feel the need to get some things off of one's chest. I feel it. I feel it. So I'm going to make him wait
Yeah. He came down here.
until after we talk about Wolfenstein. Youngblood.
Hey, look, that is torture.
Well,
But hey, I'm enjoying
the
it.
homework.
I'm enjoying it, though.
He's unprepared. So,
Better be prepared next time.
well, he probably won't. But, you know, we'll make him wait again. Whatever. Listen. Let's talk about our impressions of Wolfenstein Youngblood. Now, I want to say, you and I have had a pretty good amount of time to play with it, test it out, fight the first big brother. We'll get into that in a minute. Jokes and I had some time to play. I wanted to make sure that he got a chance to do so. So we got the second Xbox set up here in the studio. He jumped in the other day with me and played around in the first level. You can go back and replay it. And had a chance to check it out. So, I'm going to start with you. Yes.
Okay.
You would be Sin.
That I would be.
I wasn't really telling you, I was telling them. But, yes. What are your current impressions of Wolfenstein Youngblood, having literally recently just completed the other 2 Wolfenstein games?
I'm digging it in the same vein I enjoyed the other 2. Like, story-wise or whatever, I'm into it. I'm digging it. I'm ready to see what happens next in the story. I'm in it for the long ride. I like the openness of the world, even though I did say, the other week that I do feel like I get lost. Like some of the places look familiar. Like, now that we've gone into it a few times, we're getting more familiar with certain places, but I'm digging the co-op angle. Like, the most fun I've had was probably the last time we played. The other night, like, one of my guns, I got it just right. Like, as far as the attachments, and then it was like, oh, here we go. This is what I've been missing in this game, and I just took the assault rifle and put the right stuff on it, and now it's shooting more like a marksman rifle. I'm like, okay, now I'm having fun. Now I'm not just spray and pray. I'm able to pick my shots, but like, yeah, that happened.
Exciting.
Yeah. I'm digging it. The boss fights are tough. It's definitely built for co-op. So if you're playing by yourself, go find a friend.
Not the way.
Go find a friend.
Not the way.
And we have run into some tough dudes.
Slim.
Some tough dudes. And I'm not talking about like just big bosses. Just regular cats will come around the corner with all that armor and them big guns, and they'll put you down in a heartbeat.
Oh, they will.
If you got that right ammo ready.
I mean, look, we talked about it last week and kind of said how he felt. But so I do have my own kind of new opinions on it, having had more time to kind of dig into it and kind of the way the game works and so forth. But I do want to get your impressions based on what you had a chance to play before I get into that.
All right, so for a little bit that we got to get in and play with it, like, the first thing I'll say for much, just like you said, this is not something you want to play by yourself, straight up. So just going in, the two of us, there were certain elements, you had to do together. So, whether it was getting health, getting health packs, each of you having to open it up. I mean, granted, yes, an AI can do that. But when it came time for us actually fighting, like, it started, like, initially it was kind of me going in, I was kind of doing the normal, going in, shooting stuff. But then it started to become where, oh, you're over here, they're shooting you. Let me come around from this way, and I'm going to take them out from the side. I'm going to flank them. And you would start to notice that same thing, where at one point both of us went down. And it was like...
Oh, that happens.
Yeah, and it was like, yo, one of us needs to get up. He was like,
And
let me get up,
one.
and I'm going to come pick you up. Because, of course, our health is pretty much, it's together. It's one. So...
Sort of. I mean, you have your own health bar.
Right.
But you can only
extra
resurrect
lives,
a
total amount of time. So that's that communication that you have. Now, an AI, of course, probably if both of y'all went down, if you ended up getting the AI, is probably going to do the same thing at the same time too.
Maybe.
Yeah. Possibility.
Yeah.
But I find something like that in mine too. I haven't played the other Wolfensteins, so I got a pretty good feel. I liked what I played, and this one not being a actual, like a full sequel, I guess would be to say it. I enjoyed what I got into it. I kind of want to dive in a little bit more with it.
That's all. Just say what's up. All you need is the trial.
I like it. All I need is a trial. I got the trial.
True.
Right.
But I definitely for the piece that I got in and played with it, I enjoyed it.
Dig it. Here's where I'm at on this game. The concept of having Arcane Studios come in to help with the design layout of the stages themselves, where Arcane is known for what they did with Dishonored. It's kind of big, open, multi-tiered, all these different areas you can go to.
I can see that thing about the runaround aspect, jumping in the balconies, all that stuff. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
It is, for a lot of people, it's not what they're looking for in a core Wolfenstein game. The shooting is there. It's the same as Wolfenstein. It is frantic. It is everywhere. You are shooting. It is, I do like the RPG element. It's an RPG light. You can definitely do different things in terms of the tactics. Again, I talked about this a little bit last week when it comes to, okay, I have a gun that I like to use. I know there's two different types of armor that the enemies wear, and that only certain guns are effective against certain armor types. And so I know I need to at least take one gun of one that can defeat one armor type and another gun that can defeat the other armor type, and I need to upgrade those first. And the way I choose to do them based on my personal playstyle, which I am playing for damage first, right? So I may do a build on a gun that gives me the additional damage, and then once you have those 3 extra pieces, as you add the add-ons to your guns, I'll get the 3 pieces that give me damage, but then I may pick a scope that does something different, and I may, based on that, go for accuracy over going for DPS, right? And so with a shotgun, I'm going to go for accuracy, and I'm going to go for damage, and that's the way I build mine. But I may do a different gun differently. Depends on what I need. There are guns that have x-ray scopes. Sometimes I need that. I just want to get a layout of what's going on, how many enemies I might be looking at,
actually seeing
right?
That.
And we scope that out. Other times, I'm looking to pop and move on, so I'm going with a silencer and a zoomed-in scope and, whatever, even when I switch those on the same weapon. Having said that, the other part of this is you are going to go back to the same maps multiple times. There are additional objectives that you will get while you're on a map to go to an area that either previously had enemies there that were too strong for you before, or that you were just not prepared to go take care of at the time. And then there are sort of Metroidvania aspects to it where there are certain weapons that you don't get until later on that you need this weapon to open this door. Like there are weapons, there are like laser-based weapons that can open a certain kind of a door, right? You can't get into that door if you don't have that weapon. So early on, you're going to come across doors that just may even just open up something that gives you access to get more money or something like that, which you need to do upgrades on your weapons and stuff like that. In some cases, you can't progress unless you have this particular weapon. So you need to play, get to that point, level it up, and then you can get to areas you couldn't get to before, or find things you couldn't find before, or whatever. And so going back to an area, even if you've been there before, you can find new things or new places or whatever that weren't there prior to that. And I enjoy that aspect. Getting to learn the layout of an area and kind of know what enemies I'm looking at, what I'm going to be facing, that I can go a different direction.
One dangerous area, the Times Square light area that we every time we go back over there, it's like, let's load up.
Yep, here we go.
We know what's out here waiting for us.
Yeah, like it's just, and having a co-op partner is so important.
It is in that game.
It's so important. I have played the game by myself because I wanted to see what it was like.
Okay.
So run it by yourself. Now I'm going back through like the very first mission, which is technically just a train. Like it's teaching you the ins and outs of it. The one you played, right? It's just teaching you how the game works, and so you can run through it pretty quickly. But still, in that area, there are areas where you can split up and be separate from one another.
Yeah, Oh yeah.
I will say this: there are times when, like, if you're not sure where to go next, the AI character will start to go that direction sometimes, or might make a move or something like that. But outside of that, you know, you can find ways to make really good use of like the stealth option. You can find ways, and now like they've added dailies, weeklies, monthly objectives to go in and kill a certain number of enemies.
Yeah, I saw that last
like
time we was in. I was like, ooh, okay.
To get that experience boost. So I think that the way you choose to build your character from the beginning, like you take the time to look at the entire map of what you can do with your character and decide how you want to build them out first. Makes all the difference in the way that the game works for you going forward, right? So like, he has the slam mechanic, I don't have it. I only have the stealth mechanic. So there are doorways that he can open. We can get into like certain buses and things like that by him jumping and doing the slam mechanic.
I'm going to max that thing up because I want to show the charge on them big dudes so bad.
I know you do, and I'm maxing out my stealth ability because now I can just turn on stealth. Like I got the ability so I can move, because initially when you go stealth, it makes you crouch and you can only move slow.
And I forgot about that until we were playing the other day and we was actually in the tower and you were. I was like, this dude is
weaving.
Yeah, I was like, he is moving, and I'm creeping like.
Yeah.
I was seriously like, I said, hold up for a second. He went out murking everybody. I said, nah, hold up. I went back and I saw it. I was like, I forgot. Give me that joint right now. I need to be able to at least just move when I'm crouched that fast to get away.
I'm at the third tier of that joint now where, like, first you get the ability, then you get the ability that, like, lets you have full mobility so you can run around while you're invisible. But then the next one, it makes it count down slower when you're in it, so you can stay that way longer. You know what I mean?
I just need the one to move.
Yeah, but here's the other thing. But then there's one of the abilities that, like, when you're crouched, you can move faster. It's like one of the second abilities you get. You can move faster while you're crouched too. So like, even maybe if you just did that, like, you don't necessarily have to go all the way down the route I'm going with the invisibility if you don't want to, but if you go invisible and you just want to be able to move a bit faster, you know what I mean, you could upgrade that instead. So it's like, I like the options that they give you. And if you're playing with somebody else, he and I have a tendency to play games where we go opposite, just to kind of be able to play off of each other. You know what I mean? Just in building our characters, like, you have this, let me try this so we can see, you know, what the other one has. I tend to use shotguns, he tends to like long distance. It's just the way that we play. So we kind of know that going in. But if I have to shoot at a distance, don't get it twisted.
Same thing. Don't run up on me. Don't think you ain't gonna catch my work.
Right. I will take.
I'll put them 2 Uzis in a heartbeat.
For sure. And I didn't do that. I didn't go for that ability. Right. I didn't go for the ability to do a wheel because I'm like, you know what? I'm not even going that route. I'm going heavy. So what I did was I upgraded my character so that I could pick up the heavy weapons. They got these big brutes that carry these big heavy weapons. And you're not strong enough to pick them up initially. So I upgraded myself so I could pick them up. But then last night, I got the ability to tuck them joints in my pocket. And keep them with me. So now, I just have them. So they're just a part of my arsenal. I got a ability where he can run around like they're regular guns. They don't weigh him down. So they, because when you first start getting them, they weigh you down. You can't like double jump. You can't whatever without dropping it. Not anymore, sir. No, sir. So now I pick up the heavy joint and I'm like, where Big Man at? Let me burn him down.
Come flying out of nowhere. Whoa, how you get here that quick?
As you start to really build and develop the character, it's just like, yeah, I'm ready for this war. And you need it. When you get, like where we got yesterday, where you got to find, like actually get to like 3 main bosses or whatever to try to find out where your father is. You know, I mean, I can't really get a story away because we don't know yet, but I mean, it gets tough. I mean, they get tough, and they come from everywhere.
Them 2 machine pistols, dog. The way I got them set up is my saving grace. I
believe it.
Them things are great.
Listen, and he be mowing them down because every now and again you get caught in a situation where the gun I have in my hand is not the gun I need to get rid of this dude in front of me, the armor type he has, and I'm trying to switch to my other. But generally, you know, if you just tap the Y button, you switch back and forth between your last 2 weapons. What I try to do is make sure that anytime I'm getting ready to go into a situation, I have one that does one type and one that does the other type of damage. So I've got them both
ready to go.
Still switching between them. Sometimes you get a little caught up. When I'm just shooting off at somebody because they're in my face, now I have time to switch, and he comes around the back and just mows them down. I'll be like, yeah! I was about to switch. Good look, homie. We good, you know what I mean? Like that just it matters. Like and like when you're in there and you're running it together, bruh, you're like it's crack. It's crack. So I am thoroughly enjoying it. I'm excited about continuing to move forward with it, and really, really, really do want to dig in and finish the game. I wanna complete it so bad. I just want to see what's next. I'm looking for the rest. I want to fill out the rest of that weapon wheel.
We got so many games to complete.
We do. But I'm on this.
But hey, it is what it is.
I'm on this.
It's
straight
the life
up.
we chose. It's the life we love.
Let's talk about this Fire Emblem. How many hours do you have in the Fire Emblem? Let's talk about your impressions of Fire Emblem.
57 hours. 57 hours.
You have completed 1 playthrough. What house did you choose?
Eagles.
The Eagles. The Black Eagles. Okay. And you are playing as the Golden Deer.
Golden Deer.
The Golden Deer.
Yes, sir.
Alright. How far would you say you are into it? How many hours do you have in?
I'm looking at it now. I'm clocked in at 29.
29 hours.
And I'm on chapter...
So that puts him at half of where you are.
Chapter 8.
How many chapters are there? 12?
Is it 20?
I don't want to say because you know it kind of gives away.
All right, that's cool.
Yeah, I don't
say it.
Okay.
Yeah.
But he has half the time in that you have.
Half the time, yeah.
All right, and you've beat it at 57 hours. You're ready to start another play.
Ready to do New Game Plus.
So I'm gonna take it. Your impressions are good.
Yes, pretty good. Now I will say this first. This is actually my first Fire Emblem game.
Okay.
Now, going into it, I knew from doing some research that this isn't the typical Fire Emblem style type of game.
Sure.
So, but looking at how certain like customization, the story from, previews and things like that, I was pretty interested. This was really going to be, I felt, the one game maybe I would go, because I play my Switch, but I didn't play it as much. Like, I have Pokemon on there, but I can only play it so much. Got into Fire Emblem, and I mean, just off of making a few decisions, I was like, oh, I have a whole bunch of outcomes that possibly may happen in this game.
Right.
And that was probably one of the biggest things that I like about certain games, is that when you have to make these decisions and it can affect the outcome of the game in a heartbeat, whether it be a good decision or a bad decision,
you just gotta make a decision.
You gotta make the decision for it.
Okay.
of course, I love the depth that you can do. So as far as customizing or having your specific weapons that you want to do. So this is a strategy RPG. So I would say chess. I mean, I guess you want to kind of, if you want to think of it in the sense of saying,
that's how I describe it to people. Chess
is the way that it works. So you have different characters, different abilities, different weapons they use. So typical, you have a sword, you have axe, you have magic. I said both already. Staffs, different things that you can use. So depending on the type of battle or the type of thing that you want to get into, you can customize all the players that you have around you. Now, of course, you choose a house. So without giving away too much, you're a professor. You choose a house. You hit students when you're
the teacher. Yeah, okay.
You're in
the
charge,
teacher.
right.
And you're in charge.
The professor of that house.
Of that house.
They have like a house leader.
Exactly.
And you're like the professor.
The professor.
Yeah.
So think of, be honest with you, think of Harry Potter. I mean, I kid you not.
No, that's the easiest way to describe it.
Literally like a little Harry Potter, just in said. I don't know what type of time period with magic and all. I mean,
but as far as the monastery and its layout, even the look of it, like
it reminds you of Hogwarts. But
Hogwarts-esque, yes.
There's so much that you can do that you can actually overlook some of it. Now, in going,
is that a bad thing?
It can be.
Okay.
I guess in a bad thing to say.
I mean, when I say is it a bad thing, I guess I'm asking in terms of your personal impressions. Like, is it bad that there are things that you can miss, or do you like that?
No, I like that.
Okay.
Because it means you have to make sure, especially one, going through your menu and understanding certain things that you can go in and actually do. So, one, relationships. Like, you have tiers that you can do. So, say like with your students, like typical anime type or Japanese type C, B, A, S class that you can get on the type of relationship you can have with the person. So, the higher your relationship is...
What's the S stand for in S class? Relationship?
In Fire Emblem.
Oh, you mean
if you get somebody up to an S, that means you can actually form a relationship with that person, like your boyfriend or your girlfriend or whatever. If you give them that. Other than that,
the S does stand for something.
Yes, you'll see everybody has.
No. The S does stand for something.
My bad, I was a little late on that one, but I see what you did there.
Well, I was asking.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And you'll notice everybody. You'll only see certain people have that S that you can get them up to. Yeah. So you know which people you have a chance to woo and who's
do those type of things.
So not everybody has all of the options.
Right.
Okay.
So some you can build relationships with pretty easy. Matter of fact, there you go, right there.
Yeah.
And you have and we talked about this a little bit last week. But as a professor, you have students.
Yep.
That you can S class with.
Yes, but I will tell you.
I don't want you to spoil nothing.
I'm not gonna spoil. I know we had that conversation, but I don't know what their ages are per se, but something occurs, and then you're kind of like, oh.
Hey, bro, you got some hot joints with some S's on your joints over here, bro.
Hey, the Dakota did help me playing. Sometimes you come to the golden side, man. You know, that's what we doing.
I'm looking at your stash over here,
hey,
bro.
The squad is certified over here.
You got some S's on.
I got an hour on my zone on the squad. I'm putting that time with.
But I know you said you're about 29 hours in.
29.
So
29 hours and 5 minutes to be exact.
Oh, in 5 minutes. So you'll understand what I'm talking about once it happens. Like, I will tell you this. I thought the game was going to end probably in like 2 or 3 different places. And then something else happens and then story continues on. But I really enjoyed it, especially just the depth of what you can do. It now with your different characters. Now everyone specializes in something that you can pick depending on what it is that you're going to go for, whether it's I want to be a master at being a swordsman. I want to be a master at wielding an axe or using magic. And as you level up, you can go between just not being just a standard sword wielder. You can get to a intermediate and advanced and a master class, depending on how much you actually put into your character.
So let me ask you this. Having done one entire playthrough, you are ready to start a second playthrough immediately.
Immediately.
And you are going into a new game plus. Now, but you intend to play with a different house? So you have 3 houses to choose from.
3 houses to choose from.
And you intend to play with a different house?
I intend to play with a different house, but I am actually considering playing this first run through as Eagles again.
The second run through?
The second run through.
As Eagles again.
The reason, now, unlike the other 2 paths, Eagles actually has a hidden path within the game. So you're going to be... I'm not going to spoil it.
Right?
I'm not going to spoil it. But
is it just the Eagles? Has that been confirmed that they're the only ones with...
They're the only... So, it's confirmed there's 4 playthroughs. So, obviously, the 3 houses. And then the one inside of Eagles.
Okay.
Now...
I'm saving it for last anyway.
Gotcha. Okay. So, no spoiling. So, it's just... What happens is their choice... Like, there's specific choices that you get. And there's some choices in there that will specifically say... This is going to alter your story. It's going to alter the way that you play the game.
Right, I got you.
And
so you want to do it again?
I want to do it again.
Okay, so my question is, what are you going to do?
I'm going to go the other path.
Okay, so you are going to play again as Eagles. If you choose New Game Plus, can you New Game Plus and do a different house?
As far as I can tell, yes, because pretty much it starts...
So what do you get?
All your stuff carries, so your levels and all that stuff, it carries over.
Well, what stuff? So you're the same character, you're just choosing a different house.
Essentially.
Right? You are... Like, when the game starts, you create a character?
Yes. Well, yes, and yeah.
Your character, it's like your character. You pick between a guy and a girl,
so you just get the name them.
You get the name them.
Okay,
that's it.
But that person is a character from outside of one of the 3 houses, and you choose the house.
Yes.
So when you start over New Game Plus, you go in and go into if you pick a different house, you are just going in with that character that you were using as that professor, but with the stats that you had prior to.
Exactly.
Do you feel like that would change the way that another house plays because you're not starting from scratch? Like you're coming in with abilities and stuff that you didn't have before? I'm pretty
sure the levels, of course, will match alongside of it.
I just mean in terms of like you having abilities or things that you can do when you pick a different house and that having an effect on like maybe the way that you pick like the students or whatever around you because you already have certain abilities. You know what I mean? It's
possible. So from what I understand is depending on how you've leveled up your character and you go into New Game Plus, so you have the ability as you're playing through to actually try to recruit some of the characters from the other houses.
Right.
So apparently when you start over, you're going to probably immediately get some of them that are just going to come up to you and just say, hey, I want to join your house from whatever. And you don't have to go through some of it. Right. Until you don't have to go through some of those extra steps in trying to recruit certain people.
Okay. Overall, you enjoy the game.
Oh, absolutely.
And you're ready to go back in.
I'm ready to go back in.
Has this pulled you away from Destiny? A lot of people are grinding on Destiny now to get ready for the new stuff. Are you done? Are you not done? But has this done it?
Destiny's going to be on the back burner for a little bit. I am going to try to get back to it. But this for now really has captured my interest.
You're stuck.
Like, look, yes.
Yeah.
I'm stuck.
You're all in.
All in.
You're all in.
Yeah, can't put it down.
Okay. So, safe to say that by next week you'll be ready to do a full review.
I think so.
Okay. So, we'll be looking forward to the new review, to the full review when the time comes. As of right now, overall impressions are, you need to be playing this.
You need to be playing this.
Because I'm not. And I'm not gonna. But other people should need to be playing.
They should be playing. If you have a Switch, I most certainly would recommend picking up Fire Emblem. And I would say that from being a person that's never played a Fire Emblem game before.
Which I think this is built around that. I do believe that this game is designed to bring in people who didn't play Fire Emblem before. There are certain things that are different about the system and the way that it works.
It needs to be in your library if you're a Switch owner.
Okay.
That's facts.
I dig it. It's time to move on. Where we at time-wise? Because
30.
okay, so it's time to move on. We need to talk about what's going on with EVO. Not really what's going on with EVO. We need to talk about, because EVO is all about fighting games, what happens with fighting games and so forth. There were a lot of trailers that hit as EVO came to an end, which is not uncommon. This is a thing that's been happening now for the last couple of years, where we started to get trailers for new games or for new characters or whatever. And there are a couple of trends that I'm noticing that I just kind of want to talk about, put the feelers out, see where you guys are on them, and then talk about what those things might mean to the overall gaming industry, or what they don't mean, for that matter. So, I guess we'll start with Tekken, because Tekken 7 has been out for a couple of years now.
Yes.
They did a Season 2 pass last year that added like 4 new characters who had been in Tekken games before. We got like Lei and Anna and you know, Armor King and Marduk, I believe, were the 4. Yeah. You know, and previously in the first batch we got yeah, we got Geese Howard, we got
Noctis.
Akuma, we got Noctis,
and
Negan. So we got, you know, Negan was part of the second.
That was the second
He was
one?
part of the second one.
Okay.
Yeah.
He was part of the second one, because that was one of the big deals with the Piggy and all that. So yes, so not only have we begun to see cameo characters that are from outside of the fighting realm, but we're starting to see characters that are from other games, period. Right? But other fighting games. So crossovers that we didn't necessarily think we'd ever see, like Geese Howard being from King of Fighters and showing up in Tekken was like, wait a minute. Now, Akuma showing up, you know, we've been waiting
for the game we'll never get.
for Tekken Cross Street Fighter for a long time. We're not going to get into that right now, but not as big a deal that we got Akuma, right? But kind of a big deal that we got Noctis, right? Coming from Final Fantasy, being a Square Enix property, Geese Howard, King of Fighter being an SNK property. This year, so Tekken has a new character, Leroy Smith.
Yep.
Yes.
Leroy Smith.
I'm sorry, I bust out laughing.
All that drip.
Wait, what he say?
Just straight.
I see, cuz like Leroy Smith. I bust out laughing.
Not gonna lie, I didn't think it was real at first.
It looked fake, didn't
I didn't think it was real at first.
it? It looked fake.
But then
It's
my
not.
man, they start showing my man. I was like,
Oh, he got that work.
Leroy out here with the bag.
I like that they're adding a brand new character, though. That's just a new character, a
and
new
everything.
Tekken character.
I actually, yeah.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, instead of always going to the getting like a Star Wars character or somebody, you know, somebody just so left field or whatever, like bringing some. I like the idea of bringing somebody new and
Somebody
giving me a new
in
character
that-
that's going to be a part of this franchise going forward. Like, won't not be in the next one when it comes around.
Could not be in the next one.
Well, you know,
Totally could not be in the next one.
true.
But then Street Fighter had... So Street Fighter 5 been out for years now, right? We're getting E Honda,
Yep.
finally, as one of the original core...
It should not take E
characters
Honda this
from-
long to be in there.
Yeah, from Street Fighter 2.
Yeah,
E Honda should have been in there a long time ago.
easily.
But getting E Honda, getting
Poison.
Lucia, and getting Poison, who Poison's been...
Right.
She's bounced around from game to game, right? Then we had Soul Calibur 6, where we got Cassandra. You like that?
I did like Cassandra.
That was one of your youngins, right?
It was. I was learning. Yeah, she was one of the people later into the franchise. I was learning how to use her over Sophia.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was happy to see.
Yeah.
Okay. We also got a special guest in Soul Calibur with Amaru from Samurai Showdown.
Oh, we did.
And I'm usually not looking forward to those characters. I'll play them for like, all right, let me see what they're about, what they can do, whatever. Don't try to main them.
Sure.
Just that whole having him battle Mitsurugi, whatever, is making me excited to get in and like learn him and run with him.
You really want to see what's up?
Yeah.
I mean, the crossover thing,
that piqued my interest. I don't know just how that was worded.
just the fact that like you're getting that kind of a crossover with Samurai Showdown and Soul Calibur. You already got Soul Calibur and
that fits
Geralt from The Witcher.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, we're just starting to see more of it, but we're seeing that fighting games will come out and then for like 2, 3, 4 years they will just use it as a platform. They'll update, you know what I mean? Like, you know, and tweak things, but in the same way we see that with, especially like what Ubisoft does, you know, with like Rainbow Six, right? You're in like the 3rd, 4th year of Rainbow Six, and they just keep adding more characters, more abilities, new stuff, and just tweaking. You're seeing that more and more with fighting games, and I'm wondering whether or not, like, when do we get a Street Fighter 6? Right? Do we only get a Street Fighter 6 because there are new consoles coming?
Probably.
And do we even get one when both of the 2 major console developers that are coming, where, for one, Street Fighter 5 is exclusive to PlayStation 4. But PlayStation 5 is supposed to be completely backwards compatible with PlayStation 4. So does that mean Capcom would just go, yeah, we're good. We're just going to keep adding to Street Fighter 5? At what point do we go to Street Fighter 6? You know what I mean?
I think they'll milk it out for as long as they possibly can. And
why wouldn't you?
Yeah, and they'll put out something else before Street Fighter 6. Whether, I don't know.
What do you mean? Another...
like another fighting game, whether...
Oh, like a Marvel versus Capcom.
They'll do something else before they go to a 6.
I mean, they've done that though. I think that's the thing. Is like there have been other fighting games.
I mean, there's plenty still got in them back catalogs they can go bring out. From,
you think we get a Darkstalkers?
Power Stone or Rival Schools or Street Fighter EX, or they have Star Gladiator. They have so many good fighting games in their catalog they can go.
We're not getting a Star Gladiator, sir.
No, probably not.
And we're not getting a Street Fighter EX, because this basically is Street Fighter EX in 2D. Like, it just kind of is what it is.
Take some of them characters and start throwing them in there.
Well, that could happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like, seeing crossovers where you're seeing companies that traditionally were just pure rivals, right? Beginning to allow their characters to show up. Like, I want to say the first thing I think I saw that did this was when Virtua Fighter 5 characters showed up in Dead or Alive. In Dead or Alive 5, they had like Pi, Sarah, Jackie like showed up, and I was like,
And was Akira there too?
And Akira.
Yeah, okay, I thought it was before, yeah.
Which didn't necessarily mean as much because Virtua Fighter is basically dead. Right? So, like, getting those characters wasn't the same thing as being like,
unless you're playing
we have, you know what I mean? But with Samurai Showdown being a brand new game that's out right now, having Haomaru show up in Soul Calibur, that's a big deal.
That's dope.
And having SNK make that deal with Bandai Namco. To be like,
that's great.
Character.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just I think it speaks to fighting games, to what they are, what they mean to one another. And it speaks a lot to, like, the thing about fighting games is that initially a lot of fighting games were just copycats of Street Fighter 2. And what Street Fighter 2 was doing really well. And then you began to really see different systems come to play within, different fighting mechanics, different, you know what I mean? And really see. Samurai Showdown is a very, very, very different fighter than Street Fighter, than Tekken.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, like things that are like just completely different. Like Street Fighter had this thing, Samurai Showdown, Tekken, King of the Fighters. Like, a lot of these have their own unique
Did you see the King of Fighters announcement?
I did not see the King of the Fires.
Oh, you didn't?
Ooh.
And that's my joint right there, KOF
know.
all day.
Oh, I know. Oh yeah, that they working on. It was just a little quick blurb at the end of one of the trailers I sent, but they just showed that they working on a 15. They working on a new joint.
Oh, so much.
Hey,
It's
that's
about to be real.
Size-
There was some wreckage. Oh, there was some wrecking.
I need it.
There was a new. Did you get a chance to see the trailer? Arc System got a new Guilty Gear.
I saw, but I didn't check it out. I saw it on YouTube, but I didn't have a chance to watch it yet. Fire. Guilty Gear's always been fire.
Yes, but I'm gonna tell you what it is. You know, Arc Systems is the same folks that did Dragon Ball Fighters.
Yeah.
And
this
they're
joint,
doing Kill la Kill.
this joint is like full on Dragon Ball Fighters anime, 3D animated, throwing cats through to other areas. Like it's gonna be a
You ever play Guilty
problem,
Gear?
Nope.
bruh. And what's the new dude? Janemba
Janemba.
coming to
I
Fighters.
actually was psyched by him. He was my favorite bad guy from all the original movies. He was
But
my
then
favorite one.
apparently, right after they announced him, they also dropped the blurb about Gogeta Super Saiyan Blue,
Super Saiyan Blue, Gogeta.
and Broly from the movie too. So we're gonna be 2 Brolys in the game.
It's real out here.
Just put the other one in it. Put cauliflower, whatever, Khalees, whatever. We're just gonna put the third one in there. Why not? That's all she was.
Real talk.
Straight up.
All
That's
she
what
was.
her name-
She whatever. That's for
Here's the thing.
that's for another show. That's for another show.
Why haven't we seen sports titles do this? They're really the titles we have been asking for this from for the longest time. Why hasn't Madden got on this bandwagon? Why hasn't 2K gotten on this bandwagon? Like, 2K I can almost understand a little bit more because they actually do like update every aspect of the game every year. They do try new things, add new things, whether they work or they don't work or whatever. Like, they will actually try new things. But like Madden is so, like, they're like, we'll try to tweak one thing. You know what I mean? NHL, same kind of thing. Like, why haven't we just gotten to the point where like we have a platform?
They need games. They need to be games as a service.
Here's a roster update. It's $30 for the new season.
That's all they need.
Here's the new stuff that you get. Why aren't we here yet?
I guess maybe since they're focusing on, like, say, let's take Madden, since they have like their ultimate team, and I'm guessing that's where they're trying to focus on, like where you can go in and purchase and make your.
But that's
people in
there already
charge.
every
I think it's
year.
people at the top in charge who just are still stuck in that old way of thinking.
Madden just doesn't have competition, so at this point, honestly, it's just
You want it, you
subtle
gonna buy it.
changes. You're gonna you want this football game, you're gonna take it. You're gonna play it.
2K ain't got no competition either.
I mean, they did. They just killed it.
They got no
Isn't
competition.
that what happened? Yeah. I mean,
They got no competition either.
I mean, facts on facts. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not. That's probably the biggest reason why it hasn't happened with Madden. Is that there just isn't another football game that can compete at all. So, for however many millions of people buy Madden every year, Madden tends to be in the top selling games once it drops every year, and that runs for quite some time every year. And so they know they're getting $60 a pop.
Yep.
Every time from people, right? So the idea of going to something where you make the game once, sell it for $60, and then you have the same game for an ad, and people pay you $30 for an update for the new season, for, you know, whatever. I can see maybe why that's not ideally as lucrative, right? Because with fighting games, when you update it and you change systems or change how something works, there are people who stay with that game. Like, there are people who play Melee for Smash Brothers and ain't trying to go nowhere else, and will always show up at EVO like, what's up with the Melee tournament? Not what's up with the Ultimate tournament. You know what I mean? Like, there is a difference there. You know what I mean? But there is room for that with Madden. See, every year Madden does a Madden tournament where they focus on having people play the new Madden. But the Madden 15, right? You could build a core of people that are like, I'm here for the Madden 15. You could run different tournaments
You
that have
100% can. I know that from
players that, right?
Like, people come in that zone looking for like specific number of FIFAs.
Right.
Oh no, most certainly.
Well, the idea of being able to play with your favorite team from your favorite era with your favorite players is a thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know
Well,
what I mean?
maybe they feel like don't have to worry about that because they put like all those like, oh, this is the '98.
They don't do that.
But they don't always
that
have
anymore.
that. That's the thing.
That's another. They've stopped doing like they used to. They always like you could play with like take the Redskins or the Cowboys. Like you had like every single year of everyone, and people was like, "Yo, I'm gonna bust you with these '90s, whoever."
Right.
They stopped doing that.
But also, you gotta pay for the likenesses of the people every year and relicense it and whatever. Like, I get it. There's a lot to that, right? So, could it be that, like, okay, let's say 2K20's getting ready to drop, right? They make a big deal out of having a new cover athlete every year, but you can add a cover athlete for the new season.
Yeah, change
and just have people buy it. You could buy the new game if you want to, but if you have the old one, you could update, you know, whatever, right? But, like, if roster changes happen and, like, this particular person is no longer playing in the NBA or this person is whatever, right? And do you have to write that person out of the game? Do you have to change the code and whatever? Like, maybe it's just because of all the people that are there, you kind of have to push people out. Like, you could still do that, I would think.
I'm about to say, yeah, I can see the more difficult aspects of it, hearing you talk about like that, but it still should be something that even requires a little bit more work that's still completely feasible.
It seems like it would be less work than creating a whole new game in a 9-month turnaround.
Yeah, because you're still putting them in games, they're still packaging, you're paying for and all that kind of stuff, putting it in the store when all you can do is, hey, the new season's coming out, download it if you want it.
Yeah, but also at this point, though,
updates are free that fix it, but if you want all the new roster...
No, what I was going to say is that, I mean, plenty of people don't ever bother to buy. Now we're seeing that, like, more than 50% of a lot of company sales are digital. People aren't going to the stores. Like, GameStop's going away. Let's just, you know what I mean? It is what it is. So, because of the sheer number of people who buy digitally, and that is probably going to become a much larger component of most video game publishers' sales as we get into, like, 5G. And in places within the United States where the internet is not as good, you don't have high-speed, ground-running, fiber... whatever, for people to be able to actually go in and download 20 to 90 gigs of game.
Right.
So they go to the store and they buy it, even if they have to be connected. When 5G becomes a thing and it's just in the air, that's going to change.
Oh, yeah.
So not only will you not have a... I mean, let's keep it real. There is a Blockbuster still. You know what I mean? One, even though Blockbuster doesn't exist, like, there's still a Blockbuster.
Right. There's still some people who are just not going to conform.
Sure. Or it just takes longer because of where they are, what's going on where they are. But, like, there are things that are coming down the pipe that are going to change that no matter what.
5G is definitely one of those things.
And the fact that we thought the digital side of things will bring the cost down, right? That we pay less for games because they're digital and you don't have to pay for packaging, you don't have to pay for CDs, you don't have to pay to print them, you don't have to pay to ship them, you know, like, we thought that would bring it down. When the reality of it is, it probably has just allowed it to maintain instead of the pricing going up, because for all of what you get in a $60 package for most games now should cost you a lot more.
Very true.
Right? I mean, hundreds of gigs almost.
I mean, think of how much free content multiple game developers just give us with their games.
Sure.
There's an update with some new weapons and this, that, and the third, you know what I mean? Just stuff like that all the time.
Right. Right. Which is money being made because there are people spending money to do other things in the game. Right? They're finding ways to monetize it, but they're monetizing it digitally. It's not like you're going out and you're buying a package that gives you those things or whatever.
It's so easy just from your controller. Bloop.
Right.
Do it.
Got it.
Do it from your phone. Honestly, now with some of them now.
On the way home. Like, hold on. Let me get this now so when I get in the house, we ready to go.
It's ready to go, yeah. So, yeah, that's probably why we haven't seen the pricing drop as it is, right? And 4K is going to make those assets.
Oh, yeah.
You know, the games should be more expensive, and it costs more to produce them, and you're adding more people, and you have larger teams, and all of that. So I think right now, when it comes to like sports games, we're probably not seeing it just because of what it takes to rework the legal deals with every individual player. Maybe is the thing that keeps that from happening.
It's a good take.
I still feel like it's doable.
I completely agree.
You know what I mean? Like,
has to be a way. Has to be a easy way to solve.
Yeah, I mean, look, what is the deal that Bandai Namco and SNK signed that allows for Ho'omaru to be in Soul Calibur 6 for however long Soul Calibur 6 lasts, right? Because who knows when we're going to get Soul Calibur 7.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Not for a while.
If they continue to just update. We just talked about how Dead or Alive 6 did an update and they got a SNK. They got a Rika,
yeah, somebody from KOF was telling me. It was two people, Mai Shiranui, and I can't remember the other character, but I remember Mike's Mai's my favorite fighting game character. Female.
Blue, ice with the ice power.
I know you're talking about. I can't think of her name, but I know you're talking about.
But yeah, I mean, they just showed, like, I didn't know, you know what I mean? But they added 2 new characters that came from somebody else's game. You know what I mean? Like SNK doing that outreach is just one of those things where it's like, okay,
SNK next Kingdom Fire is gonna be fire. Just seeing like
and what they're doing, reaching out and building and having their characters show up in other stuff.
Look,
then it's gonna be like
their most popular female character, Mai. Put her in their lab. Hamaru, Sherman Showdown. Do you think we get Kyo, like the main guy, in the next Tekken DLC?
We could. He could show up in Street Fighter. Because that's where they belong.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. So yeah, I mean, look. Y'all let us know how you feel about these season passes, these ongoing platforms. What other games or game types would you like to see have a platform and then just continue to add seasons where you can just kind of get the update and continue moving forward? Really interested in that. We know that it works with MMOs and so forth. It's been like that for over a decade with stuff like that. So what else would you like to see that happen with? And what are you most excited about with these new characters coming out of EVO? Let us know in the comments below. With that, we're out. Toodles and loos.
What's going on, everybody? Did you enjoy what you saw? Of course you did. So if you want to help us out and support us, here's what you can do. On whatever platform you're currently streaming us on, just like, share, and subscribe. Then head over to patreon.com/loading snacks and become one of our patrons there.